Good evening, welcome to WooTube. My name's Byron Woo, and hello to Jenny in chat. Congratulations on making the top cut. Not just making the top cut, like nearly knocking 2-0 out of the top cut at points. Some pretty exciting games there. I know your first game was very short, right? I think, or was over quite quickly. And that's what the impression that I got. But yeah, how's everyone doing? How's your weeks going? I say, how's your week's going? It's Monday. It's like a bit early to be asking that, really, isn't it? Realistically. I've had an okay weekend. Like we didn't do too much this weekend, so I actually got to kind of watch a fair bit of the CBI or have it on in the background. Tuno FSO was near impossible to punitive. Yeah, essentially, like I feel like that matchup for you goes like you kill Tuno like between turns 1 and 5, or you don't. Like you just by that point you just have very little chance. Now Tuno plays incredibly aggressively, and I'm gonna say it. If you'd been on Saisentan, then you might have won that second game. Or at least you'd have had a possible better shot. The fact that you have like no Anansi, no Saisentan means that Banar is like really not. It's not scary to Banar your ice. I wish I had a chance to use my runner versus Tuna Court, but side balance. Yeah. So this actually on screen right now is your runner, which there's quite a bit of that I like here actually. Like I like the fact that you're just kind of all in on deep dive. I don't think that Harmony AR therapy is as bad as a lot of people will claim, so I'm kind of a fan. I think that you're on one too many. I think I might have even said this. I might have even put it in the notes for the deck. Like I'd be playing 2 Harmony AR therapy because 2 is almost always enough. You're probably going to throw out the first one, get it back with the second one, and like if you've got 2, you can always DJ Fenris for 1. Right, that's my kind of philosophy behind it. But there's like quite a lot about this, and I mean, you know, it's kit and it's Spark of Inspiration kit. I'm a little worried about the lack of draw, considering, like, okay, so we've obviously got Diesels, we've got Anikam, 3 Anikams. And there's 3 stone ships, which I guess is draw, but only then a single nuker. Oh, and the steel skin. Okay, so there's maybe like a little bit more than I'd first considered. But yeah, I was like, you know, it's the classic, like if you're against a quick matchup, if you're playing against Esmari, for instance, like can you find your Lobosome before turn 4 or 5 and get it down and potentially survive punitive as well, and you might even need both, especially like with the roto turrets. And I know that Not Yeti was the first to stick roto turrets in, and they were specifically for Kit, because you kind of put a roto turret on the inside against Kit, and then Kit needs to find both of her big expensive programs before she can get it. It's like a very good low influence end the run sentry, and it will wreck Kit's board. Like destroying a Lobosome is pretty big. Hello Holtz, how are you doing tonight? Hello Cactus Glab, home from work just in time for WooTube. Perfect timing. Cactus Glab, you were going to an event this weekend, right? Am I wrong? Am I right? Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like I know we built decks for David last week, but I thought you were going to an event as well. I might be like just pulling that out of thin air. Maybe I'm making that up. But if you did, how did it go? Okay. So this was Diogenesis. Now I've got I've pulled up a few of the other lists. I'm just waiting for a few people to get back to me to make sure that I can talk about them. Kikai is saying that he can publish them now. What time is my stream? Oh crap, I am live. Yes, Kikai, I am live. But yes. Hey David. They were a blast to play and performed strongly. Excellent. Oh, you have the Swedes over for some casual games. Love casual games with Swedes. Nothing better. Okay, so I have confirmation from at least one person that I can talk about their lists. Some of them are already published. Diogene published his like pretty much the minute that that he made the cut, I think. But we should talk about the winner, really. Big shout out to Kikai. If you're not familiar with Kikai, if you haven't met him in person, he's like top tier nice guy. And I mean, that's like kind of saying something because like a lot of people in Netrunner are very, very nice. It's fairly rare that you meet anyone who you wouldn't describe as at least nice. You know, you've got a few like uber toxic people. You know, Axu's not in chat, so I can probably slander his name as much as I want, right? He'd do the same to me. But like the majority of Netrunner people like start at a fairly like, you know, they start at being like nice people, and then they just get better. But Kikai, when you meet him, if you ever meet him, just the loveliest guy. Also has been putting out just some of my favorite like Netrunner content this year. The Surveyor, if you're not like signed up, registered to it, you should be. It's great. It's really, you can like read through it in like a few minutes. It's really easy to digest, and he just breaks down whatever's been happening, if there's a big tournament or if there's some results or what's the meta going to look like after this ban list or after these new cards. I mean, it's going to be an interesting one for in person. Yeah, Axu is actually nice in person. I do know that Axu's nice in person. He's a very lovely person. His online persona is trash, but you know, he is actually lovely in person. I'd count him as a friend. I hope everyone realizes that the beef between me and Axu is all like completely imaginary. Excuse me while I have some wine. So Kikai won. Firstly, as Mari took its first like really big win at tournament level. This deck has been, you know, floating around since EMEA when like half of EA Sports brought it to EMEA last year and made a real kind of large amount of noise. And it's really kind of been a deck which has just tweaked here and there, like I think 30 out of the 40 to 41, 42 cards, depending on version, have stayed the same, but we've seen little tweaks, particularly in like the ice. Like it was originally on pings and Serevnas and piranhas. We're now seeing like wraparounds, Mesnachestos. It's almost always had a Klevetnik. This has been the one deck to play Klevetnik and get good results out of Klevetnik. I've seen people lose because of this card. I watched someone die, even though they had a Caldera at Bristol Regionals last year, because they couldn't get in. Their opponent had res the Klevetnik and blanked their Caldera. Very, very rude. But yeah, this is the only deck that has played this card that I'm aware of, or like at a competitive level. And then we've seen this kind of switch from Jupstag Grid to Neurospike to sometimes having like one of each. I think most of EA are now like pretty comfortable that Neurospike is the better option, which is kind of interesting. Like I was always a Neurospike person, then I kind of got swayed to Jupstad when everyone was playing a lot more like like burner and sort of more and things like that. But you can kind of deal with more alright, because you've always got 2 Neurospikes in the list, and you're always going to like draw about 4 or 5 cards before you're about to use it. We've seen the agenda suite change to this like harder to steal early doors degree mill over send a message, which was in the original ones, and a lot of people died to the classic like there's 2 sender messages in the bin and you dirty laundry the bin and you're like, oh whoops. But the deck was also kind of losing on those turns because you lost your possible like punitive window. And so the deck moved to Degree Mill. And we've seen like Roto Turret come in as tech against Kit. We've seen Magnet come and go. I think there was originally one Magnet, then the Magnet went, and now it's back. This is like purely a meta thing as to whether Magnet is good or not, and right now it's a pretty good card. And a single Mavirus, which I don't think was ever in the original ones, which again is like a very, very important meta card, especially with like a lot of imps running around, a lot of Audrey, all of that kind of thing. But this sort of operation suite, like obviously we've talked about the Neurospikes, but the Redictives of Southern Commandments, the Your Digital Life, it's always had at least one attitude adjustment. I think earlier versions had multiple. And it's always played at about 40, as few cards as possible. I think generally 40 cards. Cool. So yeah, like the best, like it's just nice that this deck has finally really won something, because I think a lot of people just assumed that this would never win a big tournament, and it kind of proved them all wrong. I think having played as it and against it and probably seen it a fair amount, it was floating around the regionals a lot last year. You know, I've seen the power of it. Lucy, you are indeed late. I will send you to the back of the class for no, I can't think of anything significant. But hi, Lucy. It's fine. I don't mind if you're late. This is Kikai's Hashiko list, which is like potentially far more. This is a really interesting list. Like you'd kind of just go, okay, it's sort of somewhat standard crew-based Hashiko. It's running the like crew Amakua. Like that's my entire like Icebreaking Suites and Banghar. But it's also not, because you start digging into it. I kind of wrote this off when I glanced at it originally. I kind of wrote this off as a like, you know, it's an Anikam Lago Hashiko. That's cool. Although it doesn't play Buffer Drive, which is really, really interesting to me, and we'll talk about that in a second. But it's got the like all the gas it needs. Like Lago plus Anikam plus Hashiko is just a ton of draw. Like you only need 2 of those things down to just be drawing absolutely tons of cards. If you have all 3, it's often too much draw. Lucy's always been an Asmari believer. I think a lot of people didn't realise half of why Lat was good. Was it? Yeah, I mean it was like when Lat was king, the Asmari deck was not worth playing, and you saw every single EA member just drop it like it's hot. Because basically Viasmari was like, I'm going to force you to get into the remote through like some fairly taxing ice, potentially taxing ice by turn 4, and the Lat was like, I can do that turn 3 or turn 2. But there's some really fun things in the Shishiko list. So there's a single copy of Eye for an Eye, which compare with both the copulation that's in here and the twinning to potentially like sweep a lot of HQ, deal with anything, any nonsense in there. Particularly good when we saw quite a lot of corpse on like a kill plan, on a sort of combo kill plan at CBI. So really nice meta call, and we've seen this card like go from being a like no one's playing Eye for an Eye, and all of a sudden people were like, maybe we should be playing Eye for an Eye. Did it first on stream. But we won't worry about that. Actually, we played a whole night of Eye for an Eye, and I don't think we landed a single one right. I might have to look back over that. So I'll get to that in a second, because there's all sorts of things I think about that. And I think Kagas Club has the best answer in return to that. There's a lot of like 2 odds here, but the reason for that is that Kikai has got this down to 45 cards, and when you're drawing as many cards as this deck can draw, like you can go over and you'll still be like pretty consistent. But to get this down to like 45 cards, so we're only on like 2 Dirty Laundries, for instance, 2 Laborites, which that makes sense. We've got like only 2 copies of Lago Shelter, which does make sense. Like this is a great draw engine, but it's obviously every other version of it is a dead card, but you do want it reasonably early. You don't want to, even though you've got Ashen, so you can kind of go for it a bit more. So this kind of makes sense. We've got like a single Liberated account, which is actually like makes a lot of sense. We're not on the price, and we're not on Paladin, but this is still like just a ton of money which we can click. We've got a single copy of Light the Fire, the strongest card that no one's playing. Like again, like a real potentially a really good tech choice. Like people think of this as like a anti PD kind of thing, like you can deal with Skunk Void, but there's a lot of other things that you can do with this card, and one of the things that it blanks is Mavirus. So if you're running like a remote and you have Amakua counters and you have leech counters and you've got a crew down, and you can probably get in, but there could be a Mavirus in the remote, you can light the fire that remote, and then the Mavirus does nothing. Like it doesn't even trigger when you get to the end of a remote. So I just say light the fire, and like you can use it for other things. Obviously, like you can use it to maybe delete an Asmari's like remote without having to steal a re-education, so you survive punitive, for instance. There's a lot of options. It's very cool. It's got like a single copy of Hannah, which is pretty normal. One twinning. There's no moshing, as we mentioned, but I think there's like enough draw in here. Like Hashiko is draw, Anikam is draw, Lago is draw. You've got Steel Skin and Raindrops as draw. And without, like, because this is only at 45 cards. Oh, we've also only got 2 copies of Bankar, and again, this deck I don't think like leans too hard on like Bankar. There's no like buffer drive, so you probably only really using Banhar to sort of really pressure like remotes and things like that. You're not just kind of Banharing wherever, just for fun. Like if you can break the ice, you probably are breaking the ice, but it just stops you getting locked out, and you can just start getting Amakua and Leech counters going again. But yeah, and then single copy of Tread Lightly. And I mean, this is like a kind of wild include. This is not a card that we've seen like get played much as like I think it potentially deserves a bit more play, but we'll see. This could be a card which we see a bit more of once we have a bit more. We have like rotation and Dawn comes in, Elevation comes in, and we lose some other like run events. For instance, like when we lose things like Inside Job, I can see cards like Tread Lightly getting a lot more play. And this is like only one influence. Like you could see it in things like the Anicam Deep Dive Shapers or Swift like Shapers even. We did see it on the stream, like, and Kikai drew it at the perfect time when there were like 2 ice on the remote. And a really nice combo is like if you've got a ban card down and you play a Tread Lightly, you're like running a server and they're gonna have to res like both those pieces of ice. To keep you out, they have to res like all of the ice because the first one's gonna get ban hard. So it's like it's a lot of economic pressure, like an additional. Essentially, this isn't like costing the corp an extra 3. This is costing the corp an extra 6, most of the time. So yeah. David, welcome. Great to see you in chat. And other David, I did note that I did notice that you said this was your last live stream for a while. And we will make sure that we have a lot of fun in your honour. Tread Lightly. This is Lucy. Tread Lightly consistently surprised me when I'm playing System Gateway only. Yeah. Me too. Because you see it quite a lot in System Gateway because obviously there's like far less cards, and every now and then you're like, well, this server looks pretty safe. I've got like a Bran into what you would call it? What's the like 2 strength ice that's 4 strength on a server. Like you've got that kind of a remote, and you're like, well, I feel quite comfortable here, and I'm going to jam something in it, and then he Tread Lightly the remote, and you're like, ooh, I definitely can't afford to res this brand for 9. So you just hope that you can keep him out with your like 5 cost single ender run 4 strength ice, which does not feel good to res. 6 cost even. Yes, absolutely true. So it's a funny thing. It's a bit like playing Hermes, Tread Lightly, because you're like, you kind of don't want all the ice to be resed. So if you're like challenging, what you really want to be doing is with Tread Lightly is you want to be like a Hermes deck or something like that with a lot of centrals pressure. So you're just like pressuring HQ R&D, HQ R&D. Putting on like a ton of pressure there so that you're like slowing them down, and so that they have to get a couple of pieces of ice on the remote, but you're not like challenging the remote. And maybe Rashida going as well will make like Tread Lightly a better card, because then all of a sudden it's like, right, they jam something in the remote and then you Tread Lightly the remote, and then it feels like really, really powerful. But you also have to have, you want to have a way of breaking like some piece of ice, because otherwise it's like, well, I just res an ice wall. Okay, it cost me 4 credits or something, but it keeps you out. So yeah, this is a pretty cool looking deck. Like we can go through our deck once, then we like labor rights back our Ash and Epilogue, and we go again. But one thing which is wild, so this is like a single influence of this Tread Lightly. That is an influence that has not been spent on either DJ or Buffer Drive. So you could just lose all your recursion. You have exactly 3 pieces of recursion, these 2 labor rights, and this Ash and Epilogue. If at any point you lose all of them, then you probably get to the end of your deck very, very quickly, and then I'm not quite sure where you go. But we'll see, because I think we might take this out for a run. Let me just see what this message is, because it might well be. Perfect. Okay, so Kikai has just posted his lists as well, so you can find his write-up, which probably has way better like thoughts than mine. So this is the Asmari. We've got description of slots. So Neurospike here pointing out gives you reach to kill through class act, which is really nice, because that was generally a way to sort of deal with it in the past. You could save yourself a turn or two by playing a class act, and then by then you could possibly get in. This is the Hashiko. We have here reasoning behind minus pinhole threading +1 tread lightly. Tread lightly is just a fancy pinhole threading, but you can sometimes steal your agendas. Play it or swap laps for pinball, whatever you prefer. Love it. Please put Lotus Field in your decks. Okay, Ollie, well, you can do that, but I'll tell you what, if I tread lightly your Lotus Field and you have to res a end the run single sub code gate for 8 credits, how are you going to feel? How are you going to feel? And I think, like, there's been talk of Lotus Field. In fact, me and Seb K very nearly took a deck in some ways similar to Ron's list, which we'll talk about in a second, but with using Lotus Field. Maybe I don't know if I'll bring up that list yet, because I think we're gonna like make a few changes and maybe play it in district season. There's some fun to potentially be had with Lotus Field. Lucy, my one eternal sadness is Degree Mill continuing to prove itself correct over SAM. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I was really surprised when that was the correct option, but it does seem to be the correct option. And I think, like, not just losing turn 2 probably is better than like cheesing a win, like, because you probably win a lot more games in like sort of a JNet casual, like lower tables, maybe lower mid tables with Send a Message, where people just aren't either like don't realize what they might be playing into, or play a little less carefully, or think like, oh, I can dirty laundry archives here, no problem. But at like a higher level, you're probably not going to get those wins, right? Yeah, Lotus Field. If Lotus Field had 2 more subs, even just 1 more sub, I know then you could get through it with like Boomerang, but like the fact that it's a single, like you just put a Botulus on it and you run it every turn is rubbish. 4 credits would be the modern normal price for Lotus Field. That would still not be good. I think if we see enough, like, if it had a face check sub, I think it might be better. It does, like, I don't know what that would be, because it's Jinteki, so unfortunately it would probably be something quite boring, like do 1 net damage, which I don't actually think is very relevant. But if it was something a bit more fun than that, then maybe that would be cool. You know, if it had like game 2 credits, draw 1 card, end a run, it's probably a lot for an ice which can't be broken. But then again, like, Architect was like bonkers powerful. That was like, this is what you had. If you were playing against like Parasite, you could play like Architect, or you could play Lotus Field, and it's like, which of these is the better card? Okay. Side game to draw a card. Oof. Now, there was also this deck, which is Taron's PD deck, which I like a lot. I'm confused by one thing in particular. So I was like positive that this deck would be on free salvo testing, free Alvagar, free Onto, because that's just what makes sense generally with when you're trying to do this. It's like you score a salvo testing and the rest of the deck just plays itself. However, to run and people might be familiar with the Acid Group deck which I played, which basically played this Agenda Sweep, but with like no other form of getting core damage, and it was enough. Just like scoring salvo testing was enough. But Tehran has gone like a lot heavier on the core damage options. So we've got Nightmare Archives, we've got Jupstag Grid. I think so we can do like red level Jupstag Grid, score and Elvagar bifurcation is like an option. And like the main thing that this deck is doing is wanting to make like a ton of money. And does that using like your digital lives, just like playing hedge funds, Rashidas, all of that kind of good stuff. And then it wants to big deal out a salvo testing. I guess there's a chance that maybe you can push this in a remote, but that seems like a chance. I guess the nice thing about Gypster Grids is they are 4 to trash, and you don't have to resin until the relevant time, so that's kind of cool. You can just like jam these in a remote, and the runner probably has to deal with them when they go and see them. Diogene, hopefully Elevation will bring new ice which are resilient like Lotus Field. Otherwise we have self-adapting Code Wall. Yeah, I mean that will be rotating as well. Self-adapting Code Wall is an absolute joke, like a real joke. I would like to see something come in to take that place, because we're losing. What's really interesting, we're losing a lot of the like really good adaptable ice, like the tech ice. Diogene, no Seamless in PD. Seamless does not make any sense here, because once you are fast advancing almost everything, I think. There's a chance that you stick like a 3-2 Onto in a server, like maybe if you've got a Giordano installed and you feel like comfortable, but I think you're all fast advance here. Yeah, so let's have a look. Like a lot of tech ice is going, right? Like at the moment you've got Magnet, which is system update, so that's going to go. So this is your like tech ice for Trojans, which has been like a pretty important piece of ice for the last, well, for a while. You've got Wraparound is going. This is currently being seen a lot of play because this is really annoying to deal with if you are not on a Fractor, which a lot of the kind of crew decks are. Like this deals with 419 to a point. It deals much better with some of the like Audrey builds or the Amakua builds. Like we saw Tikai like destroy one of these with a leech and a Devil Charm and a crew. That's a lot of resources to use on a 2-cost piece of ice. We are going to be losing a lot of these are in update, aren't they? This is kind of wild. We're going to be losing Lotus Field. So that's like a piece that we haven't really seen make a thing, but having this ability is sort of semi-relevant. This is even worse. This one's terrible because it's 1 strength, so it just does nothing really. At least Lotus Field is annoying to deal with if you're on Buzzsaw, if you're like not also on Turbine. If you're doing the like I'll play Buzzsaw and I'll just play like Leech, it'll be fine, or I'll play like Ice Carver, and then you get to a Lotus Field and you're like I've got to pay 4. Owl is going. Oh my gosh, sad times for the old school Ob enjoyers that were on a copy of Owl. This used to turn up in a lot of Ob decks because there wasn't many or any really good 2-cost ice. I was playing Wraparound over Owl at the time, but now people just play Tattoo Bowler or Descent or anything like that. And I think there was another piece of tech ice which I can't think what it was. Thimble Rig, yeah, that's like one of the biggest ones as well. Thank you, Cold Lava. Like this piece of ice is incredibly important in terms of just being able to sort out some board states. It's been really big in decks which want to play like one or two really big pieces of ice, like play a couple of archers and then move the archers to wherever they need them. Kysra, that's a good shout. Dua, which doesn't see much play apart from in my meta. A lot of players in my meta play like 3 Duas in their deck. And the other day I got a little bit wrecked by one because I ran HQ being like, Andy, you're on 2 credits. What can you res? Like, you can't res anything which is going to do anything significant to me, and then he res the Dua, and I felt pretty bad about it. Yeah, I mean, Enigma going is huge for me. Enigma, I think, is like this leaving the game. I think is way bigger than like maybe people realize. This ice has been so like important throughout the history of Netrunner, I feel, including like almost every different format that we've had. Like this sees play in Eternal, you know, it sees play in Startup, it sees play in Standard. Hortum as well. Gatekeeper less so. I don't think Gatekeeper is tech ice. Like Gatekeeper is just good ice, right? But Hortum is another one. So Hortum obviously says that you can't break it. Like you can triple advance this, then you can't break it with AI. I guess the closest that we've got to that right now is the Sentry, but it's not like it doesn't end the run. Really importantly, Hammer. You know, this is like what we've got. Like there's a lot of things with these kind of fairly nasty abilities or on pass abilities or on res abilities and all of that, but there's none of these like say end the run if you think about it. Like as we're losing Wraparound, Magnet, or what are the other ones I just said? Lotus Field, you know, even the bad ones, but Lotus Field. All of these are like they're like tech pieces of ice, but they all end the run. None of these things do. Like Hammer doesn't end the run. Yeah, it's like Thimble Rig ends the run. It's gonna be interesting. I'm like, what are the end runs going to be? Is it going to be everyone playing Tattoo Bowler because it's just kind of busted? Hey, Centraling. Yeah, Swordsman is another one. Like, Swordsman is probably like, Hammer feels more like a replacement for Swordsman than anything else. Like, Swordsman being 1 strength and kind of like a very expensive do 1 net damage in a lot of matchups feels pretty rough. Right, I completely lost gear. I'm unsure where I was at, but I think I was talking about Theron's PD. And then the decks, I really want to talk about Bridgman's decks, but I want to wait for him to say, because he hasn't published them yet. I've asked him if I can talk about them, so I will wait for him to say that, and maybe we'll take one of these. I kind of want to try this Kikai's Hashiko. We also have to build me some Eternal decks because Theron can play our Eternal game in like an hour and a half, so maybe that will happen later. You can all help me build probably a pretty bad Eternal deck, because I haven't actually played Eternal for quite a while. But yeah, I feel like having looked at this list of Kikais, I really want to take it for a spin. Oh, and Diogene, I think you're back now. So we did talk about Diogene's death first. Are you doing World Tree? We could do World Tree. That takes a long time to build though. So this was your list. Actually, looking at this gave me a little bit of inspiration. Like, it gave me some inspiration, and I put together this list, which I quite enjoyed playing the other day. It's also on Harmony AR Therapy, but I'm on 2, which is on me. I kind of realized that Kit doesn't need to play. This type of Kit doesn't need to play a console because she doesn't need the extra MU, right? So we often see like generally it's Anicam, just because Anicam is like essentially a draw card, so like that's a good card. Ooh, Ag Infusion's interesting. This probably comes down to whether they're on the virus or not. I think we don't keep this as much as I like these two in my hand. Crew. Maybe we keep it just because it's got the crew and we can like destroy their early ice and challenge. I might actually keep this. Losing a Laborites early is probably wrong. Yeah, so I kind of figured that, like, because Kit doesn't really have to... We're going to check this. Oh. Have to play a console. I was like, well, maybe we can just play like a one-off Swift as a tech piece. Okay. Instead. And we can do like the deep dive thing. We've got like a copy of Hannah. We've got a single Swift. And then that means that we don't necessarily have to use our DJ for Sable, which I think was what Diogene was doing. So we can like get like DJ Steve. We get some recursion there. Okay, we probably buy a band's this remote, I would assume. So I put in a Swift. We'll draw 2 cards. Oh, that's one of our only turtles, but we're gonna place 4 for trashing stuff. It's a Charlotte, we'll trash that. It's a Lacosta, we'll trash that. And then... Oh yeah, camera, sorry. Thanks, Holtz. Hopefully that has done it, yeah, there we go. Here we want to like get this liberated down, but we can't do that this turn, really. I think I just take 2. Anicam is a huge draw card, and it does save you against like being killed, which is like pretty cool. I think I want to take a turn off here, so I'm just gonna click this a few times, and I think I get this turtle down, just so that we've got it going. So yeah, like not dying to punitive is pretty big, and I have realised that in my kit I've got no stone ship, so I've got like very little punitive protection, but I have got burner, which might help. Okay. I think we can get like... How many counters do we need to challenge this? I think we need at least 2. We could go like run, gaining 2 counters. Then we could run the server. We can deal with a 4 strength ice. We can't deal with a Nancy. Maybe I just let them have this. I'm flipped, so I think I want to check server 3. Oh, that you can't have that. That's not allowed. But yeah, essentially like kit with like a single swift and then deep dives felt pretty good. It like oh, and it's playing like 3 copies of Joyride. Okay, we are still at the point where we can like gain two counters and then we can run. Maybe we run the spin. I think I want the counters as a problem. Now we'll run 7-5. I'm like, yeah, we get hit by Nancy, but oh, we also get hit by Cloud Eater. Yowza. Well, this is gonna hurt. Okay. We can't kill that. So we're probably going to lose our turtle here, and we've lost our other turtle here. That is 2 turtles. They're on Mindscaping. Can we take 2 more tags? I think we just let them trash a card here. Like, they probably trash the crew. We're going to keep accessing. We might hit a ganked. Oh, well, you can't have that. Oh, we did hit a ganked. Okay. We'll let it fire. I mean, by let it fire, we will. That will just happen. Can I choose when an encounter with this item ends? If it's res this turn, trash 1 installed runner card unless the runner. I can't choose trash 1 here, right? I don't think I can like let him trash a card when I don't have a card. Don't think so, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. So we can suffer 3 damage. We're already at 4 tags, so I think we just have to take tags now, which is terrifying. Belrain can do 6 damage. Okay, well we can clear a tag with that. Oh. Nice. Okay, we're at only... Cool. Well, they've said we can, so we're going to go with we can. Okay. That's not them pushing a Sisyphus, is it? Like, if it is... Do we do like Anicam, Biobands? Are we getting rid of the tags here? I don't think so. We'll draw 2. I think we actually trashed the Bladderwort here. Because then at least they're poor. We'll run this. We've lost 2 turtles and 1 labor rights. I don't think we can put down a Lago. Okay, it was an NGO, so they do have money. Still don't think we're clearing these tags. Okay, fine. I mean, I think we install that and take some money. and just kind of force them to trash it. If it's a Sisyphus, we just have to be able to trash. We have to get. Okay, that is okay. It's actually now like safer for us to run R&D, funnily enough. Any resource just gets basically trashed, surely you'd think so, but it didn't. I was kind of hoping that this was a 5-3 or a 5-2 which they wanted to score out. It kind of paid off. Let's draw a lot of cards. We can put down 2 leeches, and then we'll just run our archives for money and leech counters and Hashika flip. Still not trashing it. Right, that is a Charlotte. Every day of the week. We could run into this Boto for 2 damage. We'll draw 3 cards off it. Like, cards in our hand are kind of useless. We can't run into the Cloud Eater, so I think we just hit the Boto. Like, we might put down the Bankar so that we can deal with the Boto next turn. Like, I mean, they'll trash it, but... Let's force them to discard a card at least. Maybe we should have just Raindrops Archives. Probably just Raindrops Archives would have been fine. Get ourselves some leech counters. If this is Lacosta... sorry, that's firing. Okay, we have Devil Charm. That's good. Let's draw. We have 2 Devil Charms. Let's install a Devil Charm. We're going to flip back. I think that's okay. Kikai would approve. He's a big one for flipping back and forward between Hashikos. Okay, this server 5 looks like it's not a Lacosta. We might Bankar through the Cloud Eater if they let us. They don't let us. But the Cloud Eater is no longer the scary ice, so that's good. So we could go HQ here. Do we Bankar HQ? Probably not. We could Bankar R&D. So if they bounce us to R&D, we get into R&D. That feels fine, right? It's a Lotus Field! Oh, we could have Bankard through that. Okay, that's our Ashen. We kind of need to not lose that. You have a Spin Doctor. We're going to run Archives. We've only seen 1 crew so far, right? I believe so. Like, they kind of have to deal with this Bankar or we're getting into HQ. We're probably going to eye for eye it. We might eye for an eye them next turn. We'll just gain credit here. So we have cards in hand. Gonna pad out this Ashen a little bit. Okay. Well, HQ's off limits. Hey, Mr. Metropole. The new job's okay. I mean, oh no, HQ is not off limits. Interesting. Oh, we can't play this because we're tagged. Rubbish. The new job's going okay. It's I'm going to be going through a certain amount of time. Hannah is clears a tag. Yeah. It has some text on it. Damn right, Kikai. Also, congratulations. Where are we bankaring? Are we just gonna check HQ for a single? Try not to lose our Ashen? Or do we try and clear these tags? Do we actually just clear the tags? We're at 20 credits. I think we're actually clearing the tags. Okay. Well, we don't die to minescaping anymore, so that's good. Yeah, this Lotus Field is like in an interesting placement because right now we can bankar it and we don't feel too bad about it. Next turn, we can now eye for an eye if we want to, assuming that they don't put a second ice on HQ, which it doesn't look like they're doing. Okay. Probably an agenda. Or a Rashida. They wanted to protect HQ enough that they rezzed this Lotus Field. So I think we do go there. Yeah, it gets a lot better calculation. But right now we're going to see like 2 out of 3. We lost... No, we didn't lose anything yet. No, thank you. Don't lose the Ashen. Yeah! At least we drew a crew. Oh, that can get out of here. We'll trash this. Fuji. Well, it looks like we were going to lose that Ashen anyway. So we can either steal it and take 2 damage, or we can trash it and take 1. We might as well just steal it. And then we'll draw. Tread lightly, this server actually looks pretty good right now. Draw and remove the tag, because we've been doing a good job of removing tags. Okay, we're like totally back in this after double hitting a Cloud Eater earlier. It's kind of feeling good. We have 1 Labor Rights in 8 cards. If we lose it to a like Fuji damage, then we're a bit boned. Here's our 1 twinning. This is probably a void. Like, we know that this isn't a Lacosta. They'd have rezzed it previously. So I don't think we're getting in here, even with our cheeky, incredibly cheeky Tread Lightly. We've got to be a bit careful of like not losing. Okay, that's our Labor Right, so we just got to play that. Like, we can't do anything about that. So I think what we do is we do like... We install the twinning. We definitely want to install the twinning. Let's see what we draw into first. So let's get back the Labor Rights and the Ashen, just to be like somewhat safe. And it's either a Dirty Laundry or just a gamble, or we get back a crew. Actually, the thing is, I want an event to play because we are otherwise going to be like a bit boned for the whole events thing. I'm going to get back a gamble. Oh, we drew the gamble. Perfect. And we haven't drawn into... We've also got to light the fire. Ooh. Unfortunately, it's bad against Ag Infusion. So that's a shame. We'll do this. We'll play this for a lot of money. And then... we either install the wheels or we install the light the fire. I don't want to draw a card because if we draw into either our Ashen or Or the labour rights. We kind of don't want to lose it. I guess it's like not the worst. I'm just worried about this being Fuji. Which of the is one of these better than is one of these good? Like really good. I guess the wheels. I'm gonna install the wheels. I feel like we might need an extra click at some point. Get back an Amakua would be a really, really good plan. That would have been wise. Okay, we'll choose HQ. And I think we just run HQ because we don't die to anything unless they're on snare. They might be on snare. We could die to snare. We'll just bank off through. We lose a strike fund, we draw a card. Seems good. Do we want to make an extra access here? Kind of do. Hands eye review. Ganked. Fine. We're going to get rid of this now. Then we'll draw, and then credit, because we'll draw off Hashiko next turn. And then we'll labour rights for like the Amakua and some crews or something, and then we're good to challenge the remote. Oh, I should have put down... Well, that's scary, isn't it? Okay. Hashiko. This suggests that there was... One of them feels like an agenda, right? Where are we Bankar in here? HQ seems pointless. So we probably go no server. Okay. So what do we do here? We install a crew. We labour rights for a turtle, a crew, and a crew. I want to have an event to play. We'll get turtle. Maybe we get turtle, crew, and a like buyer bands. If we draw the buyer bands, then we can play an event, getting our twinning, installing one of the cards, feeling good. Maybe we get like 2 buyer bands and the turtle, right? Is that wild? We got 1 crew here. I think turtle, crew, buyer bands. Okay. So we draw for the buyer bands. If we miss it, then it's kind of gutted. God damn it. So we could draw for the buyer bands again, and then we could run archives to install the turtle. What's better, turtle or crew? Leech, and then we'll install a card which will be the turtle, and draw 2 cards even though we can't. Install turtle, run remote. Yeah, maybe an option, I think. They don't just win here, do they? Ooh. Well, that's terrifying, but that suggests Biovolt. Can we run this remote? Wait, we're not scared of Void here. Oh, is this a ganked? Could be Adrian. I've kind of realised that we've like used quite a lot of credits, but hopefully we don't No server. We do have to run the remote this turn, so I think we go like crew. Do we go crew is the question. Could be Mavirus. Oh crap. Well, I really no, because they're Ag Infusion. I was going to say I really should have installed that Light the Fire. If you crew through ice, Skanked does nothing. True. If this is Mavirus, then we do get a bit boned here. Like we just die? Maybe we don't just die. So I think we just go crew run. Do we need to do like crew run is the big question. Win off centrals. It needs to be the card that's on the top of R&D. And it'll be a 1 in not very many. I think it's crew Hannah run. We can go back. There can't be a void here if there is, like, they can't do anything. So they've got 1 Ag Infusion boop. And then whatever these are. Crew Hannah run. I've got 9 credits. Well, can see 3 with twinning. I forgot we had twinning. I did forget we had twinning. Okay, can they win next turn? They have exactly enough credits to win next turn. How depressing is that? So it was Mavirus. We have to Devil Charm crew this to not die. We can't deal with the Cloud Eater. We can no longer get leech counters. Check out. Right, I can get my click back with Hannah. We could then play Ashen. Oh wait, we get through the Botu. Ooh. We get through this Botu. So I think we play the Ashen. Clear the click with Hannah. Now, we could challenge this remote. We could challenge the remote, or we can check R&D. They haven't Ag Infusion just yet, so we have to do whatever it is. We have one turn to do it. Go for the remote. Yeah, I feel like remote is the correct play, you know. One of these could be a ganked. So we could tread lightly the remote, and then we could raindrops it. I mean, is there anything that they can actually res? Like, are we tread lightly in it? Like, or is that just for style? If this is a tattoo bowler, then we can bounce or we can destroy it with the crew. We have exactly 2 credits. So I think we destroy this and continue. If this is a gank, how badly do we die? If this isn't. So the other option is now we go R&D. We could go R&D now and see some cards. Because now I'm not so scared about them scoring out. We're gonna go R&D. They can't stop the run. I guess this allows them to advance their Biovolt, which could be a problem. I mean, or we install the charm for next turn. Or we install the charm for next turn. Or we just play a gamble and then we go charm, run remote. If it's a Charlotte, are they back in the game? If it's a Charlotte, then it's not an agenda and then they're not scoring, right? Okay, the new card was advanced. The old one wasn't. So this one, the first card that's in there with a single advancement, now feels to me a lot like a ganked. So we can get in here at least once. Probably twice. So we can either Bankar it, or we can take its strength down with Crew and break it with Turtle. We're going to Bankar it. We'll do this. We'll run the server. We lost a Lagu, that's fine. Let's see if they have other ice to swap. They don't. So now if it's a ganked, we're not too scared about it anymore. Get rid of that. Okay, Mavirus. Are we going to die to Urtka Cypher? If this is Urtka Cypher, we want to hit the Mavirus first to potentially hit the Steel Skin, right? Woo! Got there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I mean, we met like basically. I think drawing the cards which we drew off the Ashen made charging the remote feel much better. If I booped you instead of rezzing, I figured you would have run again. Yeah, I think I would. I was also ready for anything you had at 2C, at 3C or less, I think. So I was hoping rezzing, somewhat signals an NGO or Urtka, or who knows. Yeah, weirdly. Rezzing the Mav made me worried about Urtica. Cool. That was fun. The deck's got like just the right amount of draw. It's almost like someone who knew what they were doing put it together, eh? Absolutely lovely. Lovely stuff. We'll just leave that undefeated. Awesome. Right. I also have the blessing from Bridgman to talk about his decks, which I'm really keen to do because these are, I think, like super interesting. These are probably my favorite decks of the cut. Firstly, there's Bridgman's Lat, which I love for a couple of reasons. One, so it's playing 3 copies of the price, and that's taken the slot of like self-modifying codes. And I've often been one to kind of not be a big fan of SMC. Like, I really like SMC as a card, but like decks that rely on SMC generally kind of want to play free SMC, and then when you draw it in the late game, it's a really bad card. Like, it's such a annoying dead draw. Even in an Aesop's engine, you normally don't, like, the 2MU is a problem. It's actually quite expensive to like pop an SMC to do it. Like, I'm just not a big fan of SMC. So when NSG released Muse, I was way more interested because I'm like, right, this has got like some other kind of like, it's far more niche as a card, but it has a lot more utility. It's not dead in the end game because it's also recursion. This is like a lot of fun. And notably, the price does not play well with SMC. Like, the thing that you don't want to do off the price is install something that costs you 0, because you've like paid 1. Like, you pay 1 to install an SMC and like lose 3 other cards. No, bad. But if you like pay 1 to find a Muse, then that's probably fine. Like, it's certainly a lot better. So it's got 3 copies of the price, which, you know, like, there's probably some matchups where you're not going to play this. You know, if you're in a one which is going to be kind of, you're going to need every card in your deck, or you're playing against PE maybe. But equally, the price finds stuff very fast. And because it's on the price, like, we're on very few events. Like, you see just for like what I call the core Shaper events. We're also not on Deep Dive as a WinCon because we don't want to lose it to the price. So the WinCon here is a copy of Conduit, which we haven't like seen a lot of, and yet like 2 of the Arasanas in the top cut were playing Conduit decks. So maybe more people need to look at this. We're on Lilypad, which makes a ton of sense because we've got a lot of, it gives us MU, it gives us draw. We can install it for like 1 credit or 2 credits, whatever, with the price. Seems good. And DCMCs. We've got like 2 of a lot of cards, which makes a lot more sense when you consider the fact that, okay, I'm gonna potentially throw a lot of these out, but I can always get 1 back with my DJ Fenris. So like, the end game is like your full rig is probably like 1 Lilypad, 1 DZ, but you play 2 DZs, so you either find it early, or if you like lose 1 to the price, you can throw it out, or you can get 1 back. We've got environmental testing, which feels like an incredible thing to install for 1 credit. Also, the price is really good at finding Aesops early. So Bridgman was playing Lat with Aesops in the previous meta, and I can't remember which tournament it was in, but there was a game and it was on stream, and he just didn't find the Aesops. And I think I made a joke in his deck list about, you probably need to splash free influence pips on like Meeting of Minds, And I think he, in a semi-jokingly way, said, "You might not be wrong," but that, like, he's definitely been looking for ways. Like, this is a way of finding your ASOPs faster. Like, you need to get your ASOPs down, like, turn 2 or turn 3 for the deck to really, like, hum. And the price just finds cards very, very quickly and installs them very, very quickly. So that's pretty cool. We've got a couple of things which, like, I'm really interested in. We have a single copy of Wheels, which I guess is just our, like, asset tech. But, like, no deep dive. So it's really interesting that Bridgman has chosen, like, Hannah as the, you know, like, this isn't a Bones, this is a Hannah that's been chosen. So there must be other reasons there. I might have to get his thoughts behind the Hannah include. It's like, it's a very good card, but you'd maybe normally see it in decks which, like, want to use that additional click as well. So this is kind of interesting to me, but I'm not going to question Brisbane. I might question him about the Boy Tatter. The only reason that I might let him get away with this as a good choice is that he is on a very, very greedy 2 turbines. And again, this is again so that I'm pretty sure you can just throw away that first one. Like, if you hit a turbine off an early price, you don't want to install it, right? Like, it doesn't do anything early doors. So just being able to throw that in the bin and then knowing it's there to either single chip back later or find another one and install it with a price is going to feel a lot better. Other than that, the break suite is pretty normal. It's like 1 propeller, 1 cleaver, 1 buzzsaw. I've just seen the Parisia, so maybe it's like Parisia plus Wheels makes a bit more sense than I was thinking about. I might take that back. Yeah, the Boy Tatter is the only interesting thing. I'm guessing. Well, no, because I was going to say, like, I'm guessing you just didn't have the influence for Cleaver. For Revolver. But then you would have to play another option as well. But what's really nice, like, we are on 3 copies of Muse. Notably, we're not really on any Trojans. Like, a lot of decks are playing Muse without Trojans. It's good enough as it is. You can just get back or find your self-modifying code if it really comes to it. But we do have 1 Trojan. We have a single copy of Hush, and, like, more people should be playing Hush. This is a very good card. Sorry, 2 seconds. I need to catch up with chat. Heat manipulation is now much more important. Only criminals do not have anything for it. Anarch and Shapers do have a good amount. And yeah, as someone pointed out, they do have the back. And actually, I'm always trying to break the back and failing. Crims have not played the back since Geist left us. Yeah, Geist in the back. The back was not around when Geist was. No, it was. Yeah, it definitely was in the later days. But what you had when like the NWE were bringing, like, the world's, I can't remember if they won something with it, but it was, like, probably the best, like, Geist deck. It was one which just basically boomeranged everything. Oh, I'll talk about that in a second, Major, actually. But that was on a copy of the back, and that just got through its entire deck really, really quickly, then played it back and got back all of the gas into its deck. Very cool. I've realised that my face is in the wrong place. Have you been able to see the deck list? No. Sorry about that. So what you probably couldn't see here was the programs, which we've got Aesop's Engine stuff, as you'd expect, 2 copies of Turbine, and then a Cleaver, Buzzsaw, Boy Tatter, and a Propeller as for breaking options. Now, on to this. Bridgman's BTO list, which is utterly wild, and I love so much about this. So, firstly, It's BTL, which is like a good enough ability as it is. This is actually like, as long as you're always like jamming stuff, then this ability is like a ton of money, and you don't have to play much other money, and that is very noticeable here because we have like free hedge funds. And other than that, it's all like cards which we can advance, like NGO Front we get a lot of value off. Like we even get money back off Standoff unless the runner wants to go ham and trash a ton of their stuff. So this is a deck which plays like 3 copies of Eminent Domain. It can use them to get archers. That's obviously very cool. It can also use it to res an O-Birth protocol without having to forfeit an agenda. That's very cool. Or you could just find your other, like you could get your surveyor on the outside of your like four tall server. It gets around the issue which I've had for a long time, which is all of these Eminent Domain decks which are playing Archer. They have to choose normally between playing either SDS or Send a Message. And the sensible thing is that you should be playing SDS, like if you have to choose between the two, because Archer has a bunch of trash a program subroutines, and they are far more like Archer is a bad piece of ice if you're playing against like criminals with boomerangs who don't install any programs and can just boomerang through the ice, for example. But if they then get in and can't steal the agendas which are in there because they're SDSs and they haven't got any programs installed, then it's a much better piece of ice. The same with like, you know, a variety of things, but Archer, because it's like a very powerful trash program ice, you should be playing SDS because you want to be like capitalizing on that fact that like you can't get through. It's also a very powerful end the run ice, one of the most powerful in the game. And so it's perfect for rig shooter decks because rig shooters want to do 2 things. They want to keep you out and they want to trash your programs. And Archer does both of those things. So you should be playing SDS. However, you're also playing archers, and one of the best ways of rezzing an archer is to either score or have a Send a Message stolen, because then you get to res it for free. Bridgman just went, I'm going to play both. Like why not? I think Archer does matter, BTR. I think, like, if you're playing one Archer, it does not matter. You're right, because it gets crew charmed. If you have more than one Archer, like 3 Archers, as we have here, then it can be very hard to have enough ice destruction to deal with all of this stuff. And we'll talk about the ice suite in a minute, because it's really, really interesting. So, along with that, we're playing 3 copies of Tucana, which is a lot of copies of Tucana, but makes a lot of sense if we're just trying to like score out in the server. And Tucana is really good normally with things like hostile takeover, but instead of hostile takeover, because we don't want any more points in the deck, Bridgman's put in free standoff, which makes a ton of sense. This is just money. It's an agenda that we can forfeit to Archer. It's an agenda that we can forfeit to O-Birth Protocol. It triggers Tucana. We score it for free, and then maybe we get additional draw and money off it, etc. It can be bluffed as a different. You know, you could in the later game, if you're like, right, I'm at 4 points. Then you can install and double advance standoff and not score it. And then they have to run through and they find out that it's a standoff, and you even get a Tucana like proc off that. That's so cool. And you're not giving away bad pub, which is like an issue. Tucana can indeed install an Archer without Resonate, which is really cool. But something which we also saw Bridgman do is score a Send a Message on a Tucana to find an Archer and then res it using the Send a Message. So cool. So you don't have to like lose an agenda. Very, very cool. And then we've got like NGOs because they're like great money, Rashidas, Spin Doctors, Biovolts. I think the Biovolts are a big thing here and another good reason to play Built to Last. We kind of install double advance these for free. Costs us our whole turn, although we might do that easier. But then it's the ice suite, which is really fascinating here. If we have a look at most of the other BTL lists, in fact, we can pull one up, and like the quintessential BTL list would be Soccer's Worlds list, right? And we'll pull that up, and there are like some similarities, but there's a very, very, very big difference. So this deck was on 3 copies of Tree Line, 3 log jams, 1 board control. We have the potential to make these really big log jams, these really big tree lines. Previously, the world list before that was on copies of Theros, on copies of Tree Line, on copies of Akhet. Lots and lots of big barriers. Now, hopefully I can just go back. I can't just go back. Where was it? Here. It's here. What's wild here? Where are all the barriers? Like, Bridgman has decided to just go, you know what? I'm not going to play the barriers. Look at this ice suite. 3 archers, all very, very, very mean, but with end runs. We've got 3 border controls, which are good, like, this is another, like, tech ice. We were talking about tech ice earlier. But these are the only, like, barriers in the deck at all. Okay? And they're, like, just there to make the other ice more effective. We've got 1 Horton, which, like, is good enough and is a tech ice, so it can deal with certain things. If we triple advance this and we're against, like, Amakua decks and Audrey decks, then they have to, like, destroy it or they're not getting through. Maybe put a Botulus on it. 3 copies of Messenger Chespo, which is one of the most taxing ice and it's certainly in BTL. This is seen a lot. And then we've got 2 Surveyors and 2 Winchesters. Surveyor, again, like, is a technical end run ice. Like, most of the time this is going to be Trace 6, probably, at least. Maybe Trace 4, that's still enough. Like, gives you 2 tags. Like, yeah, maybe you can float the tags. And 2 Winchesters, which is an incredibly mean ice. Hard to break. And I think Meteor, you might have it on the nose here. Like if you've tried to play lots of, like, big barrier decks against people on Propeller, like, if they've got a Propeller and a Simul chip installed, you're like, I'm gonna res, like, I don't know, like 15 credits worth of ice, and you're gonna break it for about 5 credits and a Simul chip. You're also, yeah, if people are on Revolver, as you mentioned, like, you're going to get through Revolver bullets very, very quickly. Like, you can only break an Archer twice with Revolver, right? And when we've got end runs like Border Control and Biovolt, that might be your entire, like, that's an entire Revolver just to, like, get in, like, once. We're also, like, really, really good against Esser. Esser is, like, a huge problem for a lot of decks who are like, I'm going to play some massive barriers and my, like, logjam is going to be, like, strength 8, and then Esser still breaks it for 1 credit. Or, like, can lamb through stuff, like, if it really comes to it. There's a lot of people right now who are kind of teching for the fact that the big ice in the format is, like, people are going to have to deal with Brans. How are you going to deal with the Bran? Going to play your whatever to deal with Bran. And Bridgman's gone the other way, and been like, no, this is all big, painful code gates in the Messenger Chespos and great big must-break sentries. It's really cool. It's like a very, very, it's not what we've seen before, and it's like, there's very little advanceable ice here. We've got 1 Horseman, 3 Messenger Chespos, that's it. But there's so much that we can be advancing, Biovolts, NGOs, standoffs, the other agendas, but we're always going to get a ton of value off the BTL ability. And rather than sort of durdling around and going, I need to get this piece of ice to like free advancements before I res it because it's Pharos and then it'll get like crude otherwise. Like, no, all of this ice is like, I'm going to put one advancement on it because it's a Messenger Chesvo and then jam behind it. Done. Really cool. I like it a lot. And then the Oberth, which is something that I've been like toying around with the idea of like Eminent and Oberth, but I was kind of doing it in Jemison, and most of the time I didn't want to actually res the Oberth, so it didn't quite work in Jemison. Like, I built myself my own anti-synergy. This is really, really cool as a thing, but this can advance ice twice for one click, and then you still get your built to last counters. So you can put 2 counters on a Messenger Chesvo. It costs you plus, you do that for +1 counter. You can advance a Biovolt immediately using the Oberth. Like, if you install Biovolt Advance and you've got an Oberth in there, then that's 2 counters. And then you can jam another Eminent Domain or something behind it, you know? This is like one of the coolest lists. I think this is my favorite list from CBI. It's so kind of wild and out there, and you know, like maybe in someone else's hands who isn't like Bridgman, it might not work, but I think Bridgman's mind works in a fantastic way when it comes to creating decks where you just get this kind of thing where when you look at it, it all makes total sense. But if I've tried to build this, it would be a mess right now. I'd have like 9 operations and I'd be probably trying to play Trojan Horse in it or something along those lines. I'd be playing like free 2s because I'm like, well, I'm on Oberth protocol, I should be on like free 2 agendas, when it's like, no, I can just like the neat way to do here is to just like score an Eminent and then score 2 free pointers. I wonder if the list is soft on R&D. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it depends because like you only, but like almost all, none of this ice is really soft other than like single surveyor. If you have a single surveyor and no other ice, then yeah, that's a bit soft. But all of it's like pretty nasty to hit into, you know. So it's like you probably only need like 1 Mester Chesvo or 1 Archer on R&D to keep it fairly safe. Obviously, if that gets destroyed, then you might need to replace it with something. But you can hopefully then just like Eminent Domain a second Archer onto it. Like they maybe have a turn to sort of deal with R&D. So super cool. Now I should very quickly talk about regionals, and then we're going to play some games with these lists, I think. Mainly because I haven't. How am I going to put these up on the screen? Is a question which I'm currently considering. So you might have noticed that we now have all of the art for the regionals. Yeah, regionals, let's go. I'm trying to like, I realize I have it here, but I haven't like made it, I haven't pulled it into my OBS in any way, so hopefully I can work out a way of doing that. I think I can. I'm just going to open it in front of me and then we can maybe just do this in OBS. Here we go. Super smooth. Smooth as always. Oh, I can't. Oh, man. Okay, I can't do that. So what I will do is I will add a source and stick it in here. Image. Create new. I'll talk it through so that because apart from anything, otherwise I'll get very confused. We'll just put this here and do OK, and then can you see that? Can everyone see that? That's, I mean, if I like black out this one. Hey, there we go. So, firstly, the alt arts for the UK regionals. The alt arts for the UK regionals are now all announced. We have 3 alt arts, which are going to be available around the country. So the first 2 are by Brindlemold, who provided a lot of or all of the art, in fact, for last year's regionals. I need to very quickly pull up the name of the person who did the class act, because otherwise I will get it wrong. It is. God damn it, Yeti! Why haven't you written it here? It is somewhere. Someone find a post for me. Lucy, you're really good at this stuff. Let me know who the artist is. So these, so we have Echelon and Slash and Burn Agriculture, both done by Brindlemold, and this really fancy looking class act. I mean, I like all of these arts, but the class act was like the last one to be finalized, so it's like the most recent one which I've seen. So it's the one that's kind of most exciting to me, just because I'd seen the others for a little bit. The little letters above them will tell you which regional you can go to get your hands on these particular arts. So I'm going to very quickly dissect these. So if you are at the Scottish, the Midlands, or the South Coast regional being the Brighton one, then they will have echelons. If you're at the London, the Northern, or the Southwestern, which is not Reading, which is, where was Southwest? Who was doing Southwest? My like brain is like not great right now. You can get the Slash and Burn. Tehran, yes, in like half an hour. Is that right? Let me know. And if you're at the southeast, which is Reading, East Anglia, or northwest. Southwest is me. Yeah, okay. Southwest is Bristol. Sick. It's super smooth. Okay. If you're at the southeast, the East Anglia, or the northwestern, then you'll get this class act. Now, a lot of the regionals are also doing their own, like having their own art available, which is super cool. So I know that Lucille has had AMS do. You can tell that I'm so confident about exactly what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure AMS did some extra art. I think a Wage Workers and a Hannah, or was that someone else's? No, you're doing a Mercury. You've had a Mercury done by someone else. I can't remember. Look in the Always Be Running ones, because I can't keep track of there's like a lot of really cool arts floating around which are being done for various different places. Maybe it was London that was doing. It was London, right? AMS did the London ones. Yes. Wage Workers and End of the Line. Got ya. And then Lucille, you're doing a Mercury, right? Charlotte, and it's Charlotte and a Mercury, yeah. But I have seen the sketch of that Mercury. It looks cool as. Scotland has an Anacan by the Tag Mill, which I think I've seen. Looks really, really hype. But yeah, and then I'm pretty sure the Southwest, aka Bristol, will also have something. But the Southwest, we can bring up the map with the different dates, which I probably would have helped me out a lot earlier. Oh, where's my little map gone? Regionals. I've lost it. Anyway, all of the dates are up as well. But half an hour is a bit too much. Sure, yeah, we'll go in 15. We can go in 15, Torin. That's fine. So all the dates are up, and I had the details of the dates, and I've lost the details of the dates. I'm fairly clearly badly prepared. I was prepared to show the the Southwest Regional, aka the Bristol Regional, will not actually be a district for various reasons, and the date is still TBC. But what I can tell you is that it will be happening in May, and maybe that tells you enough. I don't know, but details of that will be out shortly. But one thing that I should say is that the first of our regionals, which is the London Regional, which is happening in a few weeks, I think 2 weeks, we're still 2 weeks out. It's happening on the 8th of February. That has already sold out. So I would start considering getting tickets. And this is where I actually do need the map because it's got all the dates. So I'm going to re-find it so that I can, like, if I can open this in my browser and whoa, and it's really huge. But now if I go back here and I close this and we go back to the correct one, which might be, this will be fun if I get the wrong one here. Nope, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. This one. Hey, there we go. So London on the 8th of February, that has already sold out. After that, a couple of weeks after that, Scotland in Bathgate. Reading, I know, had sold half of their tickets last time I checked, but since then, I know that half of Bristol have bought their tickets to go to Reading. So I don't know if, Lucy, you've got an update on where tickets are at, but I would imagine you've probably only got about, I don't know, a quarter or maybe over a quarter, something like that. I know that me plus at least like 3 or 4 other people, maybe more. There's like 10 of us coming from Bristol, so I think a bunch of those people bought their tickets for Reading. 16 tickets left. There we go. Yeah, so like just over a quarter, but not much. So particularly these ones in like the first block, so Nottingham, Sheffield, Reading, Bathgate, I would be cracking on with getting tickets for those. I think tickets for all of them are available now via various links on Always Be Running. Most of the ones in block 2 we now have like dates. But I don't think all of them have tickets on sale yet. Meteor is buying one. Yeah, I would buy one now, Meteor. You know you're coming. You know you want that class act. I saw your message earlier. And it would be nice to meet you in person. Right. Okay. Do you want me to send you a list of links for the description? Yeah, do it. And then send it to me later, though, so that I remember. Because if you send it to me now, I will not remember. Like, I need to get it like when I'm about to finish the stream or something like that. But don't worry, actually, just send it to me now. Yeah, send me a list of links because that would be really helpful. Okay, I need to play a game of Eternal against Toron, which means that I need some Eternal decks, and then we're probably going to go and play some BTL, I would imagine, afterwards. Oh, this has changed. Uh-oh. No, I don't want to do that. I want to log in. That's why it's changed, because it's the wrong one. Okay. I guess we try this Arasana. It felt alright to me last time. It like felt pretty good. It probably needs... I might go like... We might go I might take the paperclip out and we might put in an eater. Hopefully Toron's not listening to this. Like, Toron will now turn up with like big sodding like barriers. Eater. Why can I not play an eater? There we go. We can play an eater, and then we can probably get rid of like a load of these other breakers. We'll keep. I think we keep a. We might keep a propeller. Nah, yeah, we might keep a propeller just to like deal with some stuff. No, we're not going to keep a propeller, actually. We're just going to not. And then we're going to play a third Muse. I kind of want a second Aesops. Maybe we play a second Aesops. I also want, I'll tell you what, indexing. If we play, we can do Eater. You can do like indexing, and then you can use Cataloger to access the agendas. Because this is just run. In fact, Eater plus Cataloger is kind of sick. But we're mainly using indexing just to like slow the runner down. We could play a single copy of. This is fine. We'll try this out. I want to try Eater. 3 Muse is probably one too many Muse, but we'll see where we go with that. Right. Let me throw up a game. Runner. I haven't got a clue what we're going to do on the other side if we get a chance to do both. Let me just let Toron know that I'm around. Bam. Bam. Game up. Cool. We are here. Let's do this. Okay. Oh, we're against Scorp. That's probably quite bad. Especially because we're on Aesops and crowdfunding. This feels like a not terrible hand. I'm going to keep it. We've also just taken out a paperclip. And Scorp is very possibly on like all barriers. I don't have like a propeller. So that could be fun. We need to find our... I wonder if we just joyride here. I think we have to like force some money. It's probably just... Oh, Toron's... Oh, that's horrible. Yuck. Okay, that's like not good for us. We have a single copy of Levy in this deck, and whether we'll actually get anything into the bin that we can levy with it is a big question. We lost both creatives, I assume, and one got removed from the game. Oh, we still a hostile though, so that's something. We might put down the Astrolabe. I think we get at least one. It's like one card draw, but we do somewhat need it. Otherwise, we could try and land a Notoriety by running HQ. I think we do. I think we try and land a Notoriety here. Yes, this is no. We're playing like one game of. Oh, we didn't have anything that we could have married. Ah, that's a shame. And then we'll do Notoriety. We'll throw out crowdfunding. We'll install the crowdfunding. We're going to do a game of Eternal, not Yeti, and then we're probably going to play some Bridgman BTL, I think. Is this like a deep dive with Eater? Yes, this is exactly a deep dive with Eater type list. Sick. Thank you, Lucille. Right, let's start with a diesel. Oh, that's a terrible time to draw the levy. That's pretty bad. I think we do this, this, and this. This will probably draw us. Actually, if we had installed it last turn, it would have drawn us 2 cards by now. Or by next time that Toron actually installs something, we draw a card. It's an Aramaron, which might be something. Ugh. Wampoa. Oh. Interesting. I mean, we don't really have... Oh, have you got nothing in the bin? Can you not trigger that because nothing in the bin? Gross. Right. I don't know how we deal with this Engram flush is a problem. Let's diesel for some cards. Film critic is really important. Really important. That's a Jackson. We'll go at HQ. We can potentially slap Vandal something. Okay, this is interesting. I think we got rid of our Eka, right? Because I said that the I said that the Eater would be enough. So how do we get through this? We can slap Vandal to try and get through the end run. We could possibly... Or we could just trace through it. We're gonna lose a hardware. I think we just slap Vandal. We'll break that one and we'll let the others fire. That we could pay for this to keep the Slappy V around. Do we want that more than the Simmel chip? Oh, no, we don't want to beat Trace, sorry. 0 credits. Hard to know. Is this other one going to fire? A hardware something is fire. We've got a 1 in 3 here. Oh, we can just muse this Engram flush to get through it. Okay, so we might have a win. We might have a winning line. Because Engram doesn't do anything. Engram doesn't do anything if it's hushed. Do we want to beat this trace? No. So we just have to be able to get through this Winchester like one time probably. Assuming we steal an SDS here, which is going to be a problem if we don't. We can't really afford to deal with that. What are we throwing out here? Probably one interdiction. Okay, so we just now try and win off a double deep dive, but now we need to get our... Okay, fine. Oh, that's funny. You gain a death and taxes immediately. Oh, we've got another Slap Vandal. Is Civil Chip better than Clone Chip in Eternal? Sometimes. The money saved is not insignificant. Okay, we have another Slap Vandal. We have a way to deal with this Engram. We probably want to force either this Jackson Howard to die, or this one. Very interesting. I could play an interdiction. I think I'd draw once. That's quite bad actually. We can throw stuff out. Because they've already Scorpios this turn, so we could like throw out... I think keeping Slap Vandal in hand is actually quite good. We're on 3 deep dive, right? Yeah. So maybe we just take some credits here. And check the bin. Here we throw out a deep dive, and I think the Aramaron. Maybe a Muse. No, it's got to be the Aramaron. Like, we're probably not gonna install any agendas. Steal any agendas, I mean. Okay, so we can play an interdiction to stop from getting a credit when we trash this regolith, which I think we have to do. Let's draw one. That is a card. I think we do go and trash this regolith. So next turn we can get into R&D with the Joyride. It will cost us like 5 credits, quite a lot. Here we might challenge this. If it's an Engram, we can hush it. It's a Fairchild free. That's annoying. Have we still got a— oh, we do. Interesting. If this is like a ganked, what do we do? I think that's fine. We'll just go through here. And are we installing something? If not, we're throwing out a deep dive, which feels a bit sketchy. Maybe we're installing the Slap Vandal on HQ. I think we are. Ooh, above the law. Yeah, we'll host it on Film Critic because we don't want to die to whatchamacallit. Okay, we can possibly safely deep dive now in like 2 turns. So we'll take this and then we'll gain some credits. And then I think we can deep dive next turn. Okay, thinking. So here we go R&D and we get through the engram with a hush, which will cost us 3 credits. Because we install the muse, we get the hush, etc. Then we run HQ, we get through the end run with the Slap Vandal. Then we run archives. And then we deep dive. Now that will cost us 3, 4. We've lost our bad pub, unfortunately. Cost us 3, 4. So we could joyride. And if we joyride, we might draw. I don't think we need to draw anything else. Stack hush on here. This one. So now the trashy trash doesn't happen. We see an archer. Fine. Gets rid of the muse. That's good. That means that we potentially keep our... We'll run HQ. We potentially keep our Slap Vandal here. As in, not keep, but we can recur our Slap Vandal. We're just going to let all this fire. Oh, we lost our hush. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh no, don't. I like this beat trace button, but it's a bit dodgy. Ari might be the only runner who can click FC3 and still have a turn. Yeah. I have missed a lot of chat. Sorry. What is the card in your score area? It is a notoriety. We see a regolith. We go archives, and then we just need an STS. And we do. I guess we could always get it on the old Film Critic. Four, 5, 6, 7. No. Pay to steal. Sick. I continue to believe that Hush is one of the best things here. We could have traced for Winchester. We could have, yeah. And potentially we should have, because if we didn't steal a free pointer there, then maybe we're in a bit of trouble. Why did we film critically above the law? So the reason that we did that is that there is a card called... I can't remember what it's called, but it's really, really nasty. And it says if we steal an agenda, it's a double. and it just lets the corp trash any card which they want. Sure. So film critic is really, really important, because otherwise they can play that card and just choose to trash, and it's any card. It's not like a program, it's just anything. Let's Hunter Seeker. Thank you, Kakaskalab. Thank you very much. Okay, this is Tehran's 126 card woo. We have like 3 ice. We're gonna keep this. We'll just stick out the autumns for now. This is Tehran's World Tree deck, and it will get World Tree out turn 1 without any issue whatsoever. It gets out a Charizard. It will then put a Coalescence on here, which costs like 0. He's then, I think, wooed out the World Tree and is going to swap the World Tree or something for another World Tree. Also installing it on the Charizard. Oh no, how did he get the World Tree then? Was that with Oh, he just installed it. He just had it in hand. Did you just World Tree from hand? Jammy sod. Just built different. So not a lie. Okay, so here we could try and jam for a Rashida. Tehran can like get in anywhere. So we could try and slow him down a little bit. Let's draw 1. Okay, I don't want to put Chiashi on archives. We can draw again. IPO is fine. Next time we can get 2 ice on the server, which makes it a bit better. I don't know if Tehran has ever played this in person. Like, I've played some big World Tree decks in person, and they're like bad enough playing 126 cards, especially when you've got Woo, and like Tehran will probably build 2 trees here. Like this leprechaun is gonna host a second tree. Don't you doubt it. Okay, we've got a Cloud Eater, which is fun as anything. We're gonna we can't quite go Cloud Eater, border control. We do have to Ice Archives. So we either Ice Archives with the Cloud Eater and hope that he runs it. But it's like I now want one of these Wholesomes there. So I think we still can't quite jam this Rashida, unfortunately. So I think we just go draw. Okay, this is like money. Next turn we can jam Rashida. This is terrifying. I'm even struggling to keep up with what's going on here, and this is like very much my jam. We've got a feedback filter which we're going to swap for. I can't remember what console. I think it's just a lily pad. Yep, fine. Now the real scary thing is that okay, we've got the Aesops going as well. We could try and jam this above the law. I don't hate it. And then maybe if we trash the Aesops, we might be in a reasonable spot. I don't think we'll be in a like fantastic spot, but we'll be in a reasonable spot. We also do just need to stop Toron running everywhere. So we'll put this here. We'll put this in a new remote and we'll gain a credit. This at least forces a breaker. Now, we're playing against Wu, so forcing a breaker is not exactly the hardest thing because Toronto have Mayflies, Slack Vandals, all sorts. Basically, lots and lots of ways of getting through our ice. Pretty cheaply. And obviously, as they are Wu, they can just pull out whatever they want. Same old thing, kind of scary. Trick shot. There's a chance that we don't res here. If we don't res, then Toron has an extra 2 credits to spend on stuff. I think that we don't res. Probably incorrect. Because now, like, maybe a medium comes down or something, and we get, like, boned. Second tree. Yeah. I did say, probably be 2 trees. We've got the Laguna. And I feel like this is, like, the 19th Coalescence that's been played this game. So now we've got to work out whether we want to try and score the above the law or fire off a Rashida. And I think they are, and I think it's score the above the law. And now, unfortunately, like trashing a single resource doesn't do a lot, considering that. Hey Fix, we're doing like 2 quick games of Eternal because I've got to play Toron in our weekly league. And then, oh, we lost Jackson Howard. I didn't realise that. And then we're going to play some other stuff. Could have got SacCon. Oh, that would have been good. Okay, throwing out the Plascrete. Ooh. I was like, what are you scared about? That is what we're scared about. This, well. So, Trojan Horse, which is a card which you may well know. Right now, we can trash this entire string here. That is disgusting. So this needs to be with an install cost equal or less. Equal or less. So it needs to be equal to 0, 5 credits. Pretty gross. Okay. Now, do we jam for Rashida or do we jam the above the law? Destroying the Laguna feels good. The Aesops, destroying the Aesops doesn't do too much this turn. So let's try and get this Rashida out. I thought World Tree was unique. No, it's not unique, but it is 2MU. Now the lovely thing is that we used to have really cool demons like this leprechaun, and you can put 2 World Trees on a single demon in that situation. Right, we get our Rashida, so that's nice. Okay, I think we push the above the law. Well, actually, if you're like not gonna watch, that's on you. the big question is do we want to... I think that we then just put a Jackson out. We might even advance this once so that we can jam something next turn. Like, if they run through this, I don't think they're getting through it. So we should be fine. Squid Game 2 is pretty good so far. We're only about 4 episodes in, but it's been impressive. Okay, we're levying everything back. Start again. Time to start again. Squid Game 2 is not as good as this Eternal game. Interesting. Quite disappointed. It's definitely not the first season. Like, that's pretty clear to see. Okay. What of these is going to get more value? Is it the Laguna or is it the Aesops that we're destroying? Oversight AI is sick. I think it's the testing. Like, I feel like the testing pops off. This is 9 credits, like, and it's gonna be 9 credits very, very quickly. The Aesops. 2 cards in deck, working on table. I'm gonna get rid of the testing. And then we'll... I think we get this curtain wall down. I wonder if we want to put it anywhere slightly spicier. Maybe the Laguna was a better option. So here... Oh, we can't oversight because it's something that's already installed. I was thinking that it was like... Oh, that's cool. We can get this Chiashi back. Do we want to? Sure. We could get through it with a Mayfly. Yeah, we have 3 points to jam. So the other option is just to install the SDS. And then next turn maybe like double install, double advance. I think this is fine. I've got enough money right now. Is this game going that long? 3 turns of Aesops is the same as testing, right? But then Tehran also has to have stuff to trash to the Aesops, which I don't think is that much of an issue. So maybe like getting rid of the Aesops, but there's also like 3 Aesops in the deck, I think. So advance, and then we could do like... These are expensive. I'd ideally just like some money. Because like this is Cloud Eater into border control, which feels like pretty rude as it is. So maybe we go. Like, it might break open the remote if we do this. It's hard to work out exactly what they're capable of. Can they trash a Chiashi? Is it worth them trashing a Chiashi? Finding another Aesop's in 100 cards, easy, right? Yeah. I mean, that's why we probably should have. Well, with Laguna, maybe. Right, they have 7 clicks. It's starting with 5 credits. That takes them to 9. They can get into archives if they really want to. They reading it very cool. 30, like, this is terrifying. It started on 3 credits, right? Oh my gosh. Ridiculous. Yeah, maybe doing this when they had a whatever installed was incorrect. Only 2 clicks now, though. Oh. So, we can res both of these. Tehran has forgotten that border control exists. I'm just checking that there's no, like, really nasty way. So, Tehran can break the Cloud Eater. And then just take 3 damage. So I think we just res the border control, put the border control. Yeah, I think we're fine with not doing that. Now we'll get back the Chiashi. We have another SDS which we can push. Unfortunately, there's no World Tree down yet. I mean, they've got Satcon, so even if there was... we probably kill the Degdeer here. Like, money is... We'll try to kill the Degdeer anyway. And then we can throw out... Oversight AI is a little bit risky, but we do have the ice in hand to deal with it. It's probably the other Jackson. And then we just Jackson back like the Jacksons. I want all this ice. And I want the SDS. So it is the Jackson. So this is... Well, they probably... Okay. I was going to say they probably have to get a World Tree down. They have to get like a Trojan, not a Trojan, a demon down of some kind. If they want to deal with... if they want to get a World Tree out. Unfortunately, we've drawn no eminent domains. Okay, we have K2CP. That is at full MU, but just because we've got a hyperdriver, which Uses a lot of MU. Oh, Scarcity would have been good a while back. Really good. So I think we put out Curtain Wall. And we oversight it. And then we play the Scarcity. Toronto is so winning as well. I mean, look at his board state, yeah. But we either play Scarcity or we put a second piece of ice in front of this. But I kind of want to hold on to these Chiashus, so I'm just going to play Scarcity. The one thing is that this deck is best when it can run, and the one thing that we can do is make it like a little bit hard to run. Like, really, Toron probably needs to go and break this Curtain Wall, which hopefully is somewhat expensive. Actually, I guess Propeller just gets through it because of Turbine. That's depressing, isn't it? 0 credits to get a Propeller down because of Woo. Whether there's one in there or not, I don't know. This might just be... Oh, Lamb. So this is now 4 strength. This is still expensive. This is fine. That was like worth it, I think. Now the problem is with Lamb, a lot of our stuff is barriers. Okay, that's terrifying. The Temujin, the World Tree Temujin is like scary, very scary. Let's res this. Actually, we might draw with it first. So let's draw. Yeah, sick. Then we can. Building blocks this onto archives. And we might even just credit, or we might draw. We draw 2. What are we going to discard? I think we draw again. Draw last click. Yeah, that's fine. Then we can just throw out this send a message. And we can just Jackson back for Jackson's. Is there any reason that we need to pop this Jackson immediately? Don't think so. Another levy. Oh my gosh. So this is how, like, we've seen some Woo, like Eternal World Tree Woo decks go up as far as 200 cards. Playing multiple levies is how Toron's doing it at a slightly lower number, I'm guessing. Okay, we've got Border Control and we've got Cloud Eater, which is quite nice. That is fine. We might just... I wonder if we want to pop this now. I'm going to pop this before anything like really weird happens. Quite like to get my Jacksons back. Do we pull this one back? I think we do, because the Temujin's gone, although the Temujins will come back. That's quite hard. Sure. Okay, double border control is actually like pretty good. So we're going to put a Chiashi on archives. We'll put a border control on server 1 and we'll play... We're actually at a fairly good position here. So if we can get... I guess like having this Cloud Eater on the inside is probably bad. We really wanted this on the outside. Like, that's scary. That makes sense. We don't want to use like Lamb to break a Horton. Okay. Do we pull this back? No, actually, I quite like the Horton there. Although, putting a Horton on the remote. Yeah, I think 2 border control is potentially enough. If we draw our one of... We have 1 Hollow Man. That isn't it. So let's do draw. Eminent is good, but doesn't win us the game. But kind of does. So this turn, I think we push the Eminent. Because we have 1 Archer in the deck. And if we put the Archer on R&D, then we're in a reasonable space. The game state almost looks like an Ashes format. So we score the Eminent. If Tehran runs here, then we probably res the Cloud Eater and let him steal. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Hello, Supernauts. Just in time, or well, technically just slightly too late. Okay, well at least that was expensive. But then he gets a Temi J, I assume. This must be like Temujin coming down, so that this run is like disgusting. Oh, there's no World Tree. How did I miss the fact that there's no World Tree? So this Eminent score is going to feel great. Just don't draw the Archer, please. Don't draw the Archer. Fine. We will discard. It's probably the Oversight AI right now. Okay, so this is why Toron's on like 1,000,000 turbines. Because Ankusa is not good. But if it's an Ankusa at like 6 strength, then is good. Now the problem here is the border controls are much worse, right? Costs 2 to break though, each sub. Maybe we shouldn't have got rid of the Oversight AI. We're not pulling back this Archer, that's for sure. Okay, we can. Oh, that's actually much better. So we can jam this Eminent and hopefully win off that. So we do server 1. This will cost 10, 14, 18. We can always pull this back, so we can always score as long as we can res. So I think this on server 4 and then take a credit. And I think we're actually... we're 2 credits short of resing everything. Troll will simply forget about border control. I mean, technically we got away with that earlier. Kind of did. These border controls cost 4 to break with Ankusa, and you have to break them with Ankusa, although we're already at 9. That's terrifying. Should have got rid of the Aesops, probably. This is a sad time not to be running the Source. Yeah, maybe. Okay. So this is going to cost enough. Like, this is expensive. We'll then see how much Toron has left. And if he doesn't bounce it with Vancusa, okay, fine. I have another credit. I think I just let him in here. If he hits a send a message, it's quite good for me. Or I could res the Hortum. I now have 2 border control, so I only need to go like border control, border control. So we might do res Hortum, just so we don't get accidentally blown out by something. Okay, this is fine. The most points we can lose is 6, I think. But then again, this is Eternal. So you never know. Like, this would be like mad dash last click. So close. We'll res a Cloud Eater for free. Whoa! That game was entirely won by a single Trojan horse. Yeah, we like I've never wiped out quite that much rig in one go. It was pretty disgusting. I think 2 World Trees, a Leprechaun, a Charizard, for sure. This seems good for a 0C install. Charizard has turned up in a remarkable amount of very, very busted Eternal decks. It's quite funny. By a remarkable amount is that's the Risk of Demons. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I'm like a very big Leprechaun fan. I've never got on board with Charizard, but I probably need to try it. Thanks for the games. Right. Eternal looks very different from the last time I played it more than a year ago. Eternal moves reasonably fast and at the same time kind of slow. Like no one else is playing this Blue Sun, I can guarantee that. Like, this is really good, honest Blue Sun, and yet it does kind of win games. It's kind of fun to play just some guys. It's kind of fun to always have a Cloud Eater. But it is not the usual thing that you'll necessarily run into in Eternal. Oh, holy hell. So there's been a run on regionals tickets for the Southeast regionals in Reading. 10 tickets left, apparently. Yeah. So, Fix, have you got your ticket for Reading regionals? If not, you should probably do that. Right, I think we've got time to give the BTL deck a spin right before I go tonight. It's what I was kind of super keen on doing. We should probably play a little bit of Netrunner. So it is down here. Here we go. Corp. WooTube live. Fix has got his. That's good. I will give the oh, I wonder if we just score a standoff here. No, it doesn't feel quite right against 419. We'll have 5 credits. And we'll definitely get to draw. So if they do first... How bad is it if they do first? Like, quite bad. I'm gonna keep this. Actually, no, keep it in the archer is so wrong, isn't it? What am I doing? That's like absolutely very foolish play. I don't know why I'm keeping this hand. That's terrible. We'll do advance, we'll res it, and we'll put an archer, but we can't res on HQ? That seems like a bad idea. We could pop this. Okay, that's cool. They probably don't want to trash that, so we probably get away with scoring this. We'll say no. We'll do advance, advance. We'll see if they want to trash Earthrise. They don't, unsurprisingly. Okay, we now also have a Winchester for HQ, which is good, so we don't necessarily have to res this. If they doof us here, we're just going to let them doof. Ooh, rude. This is fine. That boomerang can just hang out there. I don't mind about it too much. Oh, there's a chance that we just score out this one. We will overdraw by 1 card. So maybe we don't need to. So I think we put a Rashida out. We're not going to pay, we're going to res it. We'll put the archer in on top, and we'll put the Winchester on HQ. There's actually a chance that we should just trash this archer on HQ and recycle it with a Spin Doctor. There's also a good shout that we don't pop this Rashida and we score this standoff next turn. But then they'll probably just trash this boomerang. Maybe that's okay for us. I think we pop Rashida. Yeah. Okay, Oberth is sick. I think we'll get a bit of protection on R&D. We will pay, and then we'll advance this once for the nasty face check. Why res Rashida? I didn't want to pay the credit for them. Okay, I kind of feel like we could score another standoff here, but I also don't... Oh, no, we'll go for the Eminent. So we'll go Surveyor. Pay 1. Yes. Install Eminent. We have 1 more Archer in the deck. And we've also drawn the Oberth, so it's like a little crap. We'll just gain a credit here. Trash the Archer and bring it back. Yeah, it probably was the play, especially like now. If we happen to draw into our 4th Archer, I mean, we can get something else. We can get a Messler Chestbow or something, but it's really showing that all the Archers are on board. So just don't draw the Archer. Fine. Yep. We will get an Archer here on server 3. No, I don't need to pay because they've got no Amakua. Oh, that's so rude. At least we've got like a 2nd Archer in here. Why credit over Advance the Eminent? Yeah, Advancing the Eminent was possibly better. I kind of wanted to bait a pinhole. Not gonna lie. So here I think we go install the Oberth, install Standoff, advance Standoff. We'll pay this, and then we'll do this. But yeah, advancing the Eminent would be the other things that would mean that we could like jam a Rashida, for instance, for next turn. I think we have to purge here, which is fine. Or we jam this other eminent. Any Mavirus? There's one Mavirus in the deck, I think. There's no Mavirus in the deck. So we could score the standoff. There's no magnet either. Thinking. Because otherwise we could like eminent out and a magnet. The other surveyor would be the other good thing to put here, but that's in our hand. I guess Messer Chester would be fine. So we could just purge, and then next turn we can jam. I think we do want to keep this one rezzed for at least one more turn. Yeah, T400 is interesting. It suggests that they're maybe on something like Stargate, for instance. They certainly want MU. I mean, the +1 hand size is like not the worst thing right now. Lots of people trying to like kill you. Handily, if they trash something to this standoff. Okay, we probably res the Winchester. Costs 5. Got to remember that we've got a Xanadu down, which is a bit mean. But costs us 5 each. I think that's absolutely fine. We will not res this archer. We see a surveyor, that's fine. Turbine. Well, that somewhat explains this. Okay, this Winchester got a lot worse very quickly. Another eminent. If they trash something, we're trashing this archer, and then we're going to try and bring it back with this Spin Doctor. Okay. So how good is this remote? Reasonable. Good enough to score an eminent? We'll pay 1. Yeah, I think we get a Messer Chespo here. The big question is are we rezzing this Oberth? I think we're not. This is fine. Cost them 3. Like, if we res this archer... If we res the archer... If we res the archer, then it has to boost once and break. And break. So it costs them 4. Costs us 4, costs them 4. We then have a resed archer. They get their boomerang back. Costs us 5 because of the Xanadu. I think this is fine. We're like okay for money. Okay, Shibboleth. 5 strength Shibboleth actually deals with Messenger Chespo pretty well. Okay. This archer is about to die. This is a little bit like suspicious because of the pinhole. Yes, we'll get. It's going to be the Messenger chest though, which we'll put on server free. No. And then I think we jam. Or we put in the Biovolt, and the next turn we can go like advance the Biovolt, install SDS, advance once. I want to keep the other Eminent in hand. We lose this Archer, but that's okay. We've got this one down here. We've got this Surveyor. We can technically res both of these. Oh, we can't because of Xanadu. Oh, and this is, well, this is very rude. We won't be able to res this Surveyor. Ah, this is grim. $14 credits should be enough. Okay, fine. Just 2 credits to break that. That's a shame, isn't it? We can't res the Surveyor. The Surveyor would actually be the better of the two, I think. We can res the Archer. Costs us all our money. Can't get a credit off of BTL next turn. How much does this actually cost them for it? It still costs them 6. I think we have to res the Archer. I think we have to. Like 6 is enough. They can technically... Oh, they can't trash both of these. That's great. That's really good for us. So now we can do... Gain credit. Advance. Advance the Messenger chest though? Or we just advance the Biovolt again. Or we put the standoff in the remote and show them it. So that we don't have to discard a card. Or we put down the spin and show them it. No. Like, I think the server, like, they're not running in here anyway, I don't think, so we're kind of good on that front. We could use spin here. We've got a lot of agendas in hand. We've now just got trashables in hand, but they don't have much money, so this is fine. They can't go back many times. Oh, super rude. They're on shutdown as well. Wow. Okay. This is going to be a problem. We have 3 archers on board, and all of them have been quite nicely defanged. Okay. So what's quite nice here is we can go install this as a new remote. We won't do that. We'll res it and advance it, and then we'd probably install the Rashida. or we do the Biovolt. They've got no more doofs. We may have, but I think we're okay. Like, our surveyors are still actually, like, good here. The Mesner Chespo soon is actually still going to be relevant. Like, so maybe we do install the Rashida. We'll throw out one SDS. There's a chance that I don't want to draw 3 cards next turn is the only issue. I've got like 8 credits. I guess I have enough credits to put some stuff out. Quite like to get a border control on this remote, because that's the one thing I don't have there at the moment. Throwing out a turtle, I guess like we're a lot of very high strength ice. Okay. Tucana is potentially really good. Getting back the Ober. I wonder how good it is. I think what we do is we put this in the server, we pay, we advance it once, we advance this once, and then we throw out a Tucana, a Hortum, a Surveyor. It might just be the Tucanas, like we've got so much of the ice from our deck already. And the Hortum, fine. And then next turn we can go install the Eminent, advance the Eminent, advance the other Biovolt, and then our remote feels like pretty good. See if they've got another shutdown. They might well do. We will not res that. Oh, maybe we should have res. Oh, they boomerang. They don't get a boomerang back. We see a Surveyor. Wow, they missed all the agendas. Okay. Right, we're good at start of turn, so we can go. Install is in 3. There's a chance that we show them. No, we won't show them. We'll pay. We'll advance once. And then we either advance the Mesner Chespo, or we just rely on our surveyors and things. So let's do advance this once. We have actually got 9 credits. Okay. We could res this. We then probably can't res the remote. So I think we let them in here. Where are they running? I can't see. Oh, this is interesting. We do need to shuffle back the SDS, and I think we also shuffle back the Oberth. Standoff, but yeah, we could have done a standoff as well, actually. So now, Do we res this to cost them? I don't think we do. Fine, we got away with it. So with this Eminent, we probably, like, we haven't seen any pinholes yet. Because the safer thing to do is probably get a border control. But otherwise, yeah, I think we just get a border control. Or we get the Oberth. We just immediately lose it to... I'm worried about immediately losing it to... Oh, actually, we've got... We don't lose it to pinhole, because we have pinhole protection. No. And then we probably advance this best of chest vote once. And throw out... I think I want to score this standoff, if I possibly can. Ah, probably the Surveyor's wrong. The Surveyor's a thing to throw out there, actually. Like, we're never putting the Surveyor here. Yeah, that's definitely right. But next time we could score this standoff out and jam. Oh, we can't jam anymore. That's a shame. I was waiting for Hermes to come down. I was kind of hoping they weren't on it. Here we can res if we want to. I think we do, because I think we want to keep this where it is. The only bad thing is that this remote, we know this is Archer. I go, they have no money. Accessing your card. It's mostly SDSs left. And sender messages. Res the Biovolts. I should have res the Biovolts. Absolutely correct. I'm going to do that now, because we all know what they are. We're also probably going to score this standoff now anyway. It's going to make the remote a lot less good. Like, this Surveyor is also going to be worse. But I think it's still worth it. I assume they trash something here. Although, what do you trash? Maybe the... You probably trash the Boomerang at this point, right? So here, we can trash the Archer with the Tranquilizer on it. Which I feel like we're never resing. But it makes the Surveyor worse. So we've got to bear that in mind. Or we trash the Archer with the Boomerang on it. Sure. We're like... not really ever resing that. Okay, what do you get rid of now? They did trash the Boomerang. Oh, well that was dumb, wasn't it? Because obviously they can do that. So do we trash this other Archer now? Potentially. What do they then trash? Like the buffer drive? I've got to be careful because we're going to get a... There's going to be something bounced with Hermes as well now. Probably trashing the Archer with the Tranquilizer on it first. was a better option. Certainly trashing, like, giving them an easy trash target was a bad idea. Right, what did they bounce? They bounced the archer. Okay. Now, I don't think they can get in here. Oh, we actually don't have enough money to res any of this ice. So they'd have to go through this. We have scored 6 agendas, yeah. For sure. Maybe we put an SDS in the remote. Yeah, we're going to just score all. We're going to score all the agendas in the deck. Not quite, but close to it. Advancing the Mester Chesto once was probably a good call here. I was going to say there's a lot of agendas left. Okay, we can. Oh, they're going to. Okay, they bounced that. That's fine. We get a free surveyor res. So that's nice. The deck is very, very agenda heavy right now. It's a bit scary. Dang. Yeah. Okay. We've got an archer back. Right. Can we just install SDS, advance, and then advance the Mester Chesto? Or do we go for the money here? I think we go for them. Yeah, we do need a bit of money. So we do this, we'll pay, we'll advance, and then we'll advance for Mester Chesto. If they're on a legwork, they're a little bit boned. I think we want to keep exactly one archer. The border controls. I think the Mester Chesto is probably the best dice here. The Surveyor's probably the worst dice. So then it's either the second archer, which we can score, like we can res, but they're on like D-res stuff. So it's maybe we'll keep one archer. Could be incorrect. So left in R&D are. Maybe we should have kept that other archer, because I think we should have put one archer on R&D. Yes. Like, there's a chance that we should buy a bolt here. Oh, really? Wow. I thought... Wow. Like, they probably got this. Let's have a look at the top. Like, they very possibly have this one. It's kind of scary. Mainly because we played in a very odd way, but we just played as it was, and we did have to deal with a lot of D-res. That's an unfortunate end. Bridgman has also now posted his lists. Amazing. So you can go here and see his write-ups, which actually are pretty short. But yeah. Losing an eminent wouldn't change your score in Platinum Tour. Yeah, no, 100% odd radish. In fact, losing 2 eminents, like I can track, like it doesn't make any difference at that point if I just like start losing all of my eminents, all apart from 1. Right, I'm going to try and remember to copy all of these things that Lucy has just sent me into the show notes, so that if you are interested in the UK regionals, districts, etc., then there should be details in the show notes now. Other than that, have fun checking out all the CBI deck list. There were a lot of really, really fun things. We didn't get a chance to play Tauron's deck today, but we got to play against Tauron, so it's nearly as good. Oh, they think the win is in the remote, which it should be, yeah, maybe. I mean, we weren't going to win anyway, like that turn. It would have still been a couple more turns, so I feel like they could have at least made the access. Like they can get in. Oh, maybe they realised that they had to boost. That's unfortunate. Anyway, they could have got a single or two, and they were on enough points. Like, they can quite easily take a single on HQ if they wanted to. Okay. Sorry, excuse me. Right, I'm off to bed. See you all next week, I hope. And yeah, go and buy some tickets for the regionals before they all sell out, because otherwise you'll be upset. I am 90% sure I have bought mine, so follow my lead and be 90% sure that you have a ticket to the regional that you want to go to. Anyway, catch you next week. Ciao for now. Oh, I can't. Oh, there we go.